deceived.
Welcome back to our historical tour of the galaxy far, far away, fellow Star Wars lovers. In today's marvelous video, we're going to dig into the mysterious roots of the Sith, the iconic dark side followers who formed the very foundations of Star Wars legend. Join us on an exciting voyage through time as we unearth the mysterious origins of the Sith Order, tracking it all the way back to the birth of the first Sith. We'll travel through the shadows of treachery, desire, and ultimate evil that produced a cult that would resound across millennia as we unravel the mysteries that led to their rise to power. Watch on and be prepared to witness the birth of pure evil. Before we get into our explanation, we have a very small request though. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
I am that which grips the heart in fright, hearkens night and silences the light. It was written of my sword long, long ago.
How was the first Sith Lord formed? A story about the beginnings of the Sith unfolds in the depths of Star Wars lore, with a Jedi Master called Ajunta Pal playing an essential role. Ajunta Pal, once a shining light, fell out of favor with the Jedi when he succumbed to the tempting allure of the dark side, gaining the title of Dark Jedi. This term is primarily associated with the lost Jedi who strayed from the way of the light. However, it also has a variety of additional meanings within the immense Star Wars universe. When Ajunta Pal dabbled with outlawed knowledge, probing into the control and fabrication of life, a process highly looked down upon by the Jedi Order, his life took a tragic turn. As his ambitions for power intensified, the Jedi rejected him, kicking off the 100-Year Darkness, a civil struggle that ripped apart the Jedi Order. Disappointed with the seeming arrogance of their former companions, the Dark Jedi, led by Ajunta Pal, battled with the Jedi and the Galactic Republic. Cast out and banished, the Dark Jedi discovered Korriban, a planet on the outer rim pulsing with raw dark side powers. It was here that they came across the Sith, a primitive yet magical race. Ajunta Pal was drawn to them because of their natural affinity toward the dark side. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he manipulated and ultimately assassinated the Sith commander, taking on the identity of the Dark Lord Gennari. As a result, Ajunta Pal became the very first Dark Lord of the Sith, laying the groundwork for the Sith Empire and teaching his newfound followers about the most sinister aspects of the Force. Ajunta Pal captured more worlds as the Sith Empire spread, notably Ziost, which ended up becoming one of the most sacred Sith planets. He controlled the Sith Empire for decades, solidifying its dominance. However, the magnitude of his actions, as well as the consequences of his dark decisions, finally overtook him. Ajunta Pal was put to rest in the Valley of the Dark Lords on Korriban, a memorial to his influential but troubled legacy. Centuries later, the legendary Jedi Knight Revan would eventually come into contact with the spirit of Ajunta Pal. In a touching conclusion, Revan assisted the departed Jedi Master in finding peace and redemption by leading him back to the light. Ajunta Pal let go of his suffering and surrendered to the Force, achieving eternal tranquility.
And the Jedi?
The Chancellor should never have brought them into this. Kill them immediately.
A complete history of the Order of the Sith Lords. In the chapters of Star Wars lore, a unique species known as the Sith emerged before any of the Dark Lords, distinguished by their distinct features and profound connection to the dark side of the Force. With crimson-hued skin, formidable bone structures, and mesmerizing facial tendrils, the Sith possessed a unique and striking appearance. Originating from the ancient world of Korriban, the Sith species predates the formation of the Galactic Republic by an astonishing span of 75,000 years. The Sith, a civilization steeped in darkness, fostered a society centered around worshipping the dark side, embracing its evil energies and harnessing its destructive energy. In the pursuit of power, the Sith embraced violence, regarding conflict and war as fundamental aspects of existence. Their intimate understanding of alchemy allowed them to imbue objects and living beings with the evil essence of the dark side, creating powerful artifacts that enhance their mastery over the Force. Around 7000 BBY, the escaping Dark Jedi led by Pal, driven by their thirst for knowledge in the ways of the dark side, sought out the Sith species. The Sith were captivated by the mysterious powers wielded by these foreign men, as well as their advanced technology. In a remarkable turn of events, the Dark Jedi achieved an almost godlike status among the Sith, becoming their revered rulers. Under the leadership of Ajunta Pal, the Sith Empire rose to prominence, spreading its influence across the galaxy. galaxy. The term Dark Lords of the Sith came to be known as a title bestowed upon their warlords. It became a symbol of their dominion, with a line of succession ensuring the continuation of their legacy. Over the centuries, interbreeding and cultural amalgamation transformed the Sith from a distinct race into a multifaceted philosophy and religious order. The Sith Empire thrived in isolation from the ever-expanding Galactic Republic, allowing its dark reign to flourish without any obstructions. A figure then emerged whose impact on the legacy and turmoil of the Sith remains unshakable: Marka Ragnos. Marka Ragnos came to the throne around 5 millennia prior to the creation of the Galactic Empire, becoming the acclaimed leader of the Sith Empire. His reign coincided with the Golden Age of the Sith, in which this Sith-human monster ruled the galaxy for a period of more than a century. The sway of Marka Ragnos came to a momentous end, triggering a civil war among the Sith. Naga Sadow and Ludo Kresh emerged as formidable contenders for the throne, each laying claim to portions of the crumbling empire. To determine the rightful successor, the ghostly presence of Marka Ragnos returned from the world of the dead. In a dramatic proclamation, he declared that only the most deserving and worthy could ascend to the throne. This pivotal moment ignited a fierce power struggle, with Sith Lords vying for supremacy and trying their best to prove their cunning and mastery over the dark side of the Force. The ensuing conflict shaped the course of Sith's history, forever altering their trajectory and setting the stage for subsequent struggles of power and ambition. Marka Ragnos stands as a harbinger of both triumph and chaos within the pages of Sith mythology. His reign exemplified the very peak of Sith power and dominance, yet his passing plunged the Empire into chaos, revealing the fragile nature of Sith unity and the ceaseless thirst for control among their ranks. Amidst this turmoil, Naga Sadow, emerging victorious from a fateful duel against Ludo Kresh, seized control of the Sith Empire. Fueled by ambition and driven by a thirst for dominance, Naga Sadow orchestrated a series of swift and devastating surprise attacks on various galactic worlds. These simultaneous assaults sent shockwaves through the galaxy, as the Sith initially appeared to have the upper hand. However, internal disagreements and disorder within their ranks proved fatal, helping the Republic to form an effective opposition and ultimately push the Sith troops back. The broken Sith Empire sought sanctuary in the depths of the unknown regions as the tides of battle turned against them. They rebuilt their troops and formed an entirely new Sith Empire on the unfamiliar planet of Droman Kaas, led by the cunning Darth Vitiate, who rose to the rank of Emperor. In the wake of their defeat, Naga Sadow, his spirit tormented and unfulfilled, sought peace in the remote and treacherous world of Yavin 4. Little did he know that his presence would reverberate across time, influencing a future aspiring Sith named Exar Kun a millennium later. The conflict that encompassed Naga Sadow's ascent to power and the subsequent downfall of the fabled Golden Age of the Sith came to be known as the Great Hyperspace War, forever etching its mark upon the pages of galactic history. Emerging from the shadows of obscurity after 6 centuries, a disillusioned Jedi would become the harbinger of a revived Sith legacy. This individual, overlooked for knighthood due to his arrogance, bore the name Freedon Nad. With a heart seething with suppressed fury and resentment, Freedon Nad would reignite the flame of the Sith, unleashing his pent-up anger across the galaxy. Freedon Nad abandoned his Jedi training and embraced the temptation of the dark side, taking up the crown as the self-proclaimed King of Onderon. His rule, however, would be brief, as he faced a serious challenge from the Beast Riders, a gang of exiled outlaws who intended to seize power for themselves. Overthrown by these banished hooligans, Freedon Nad's rule crumbled, and his dreams of dominion shattered. Yet, this was merely a prequel to a more significant conflict that was to follow, the Great Sith War. Circa 3996 BBY, a fallen Jedi named Exar Kun found himself drawn to the ancient world of Onderon in search of a forbidden knowledge associated with the Sith. It was there that fate intertwined his path with the lingering spirit of Freedon Nad. As their encounter unfolded, Exar Kun succumbed to the seductive whispers of the Sith and transformed into a catalyst for the rebirth of the Sith Empire. Under Exar Kun's leadership, the Sith resurfaced, ready to challenge the might of the Republic. Blinded by ambition and corrupted by the dark influence of Naga Sadow's haunting presence, Exar Kun carved a formidable legacy within the realms of Star Wars history. To further his cause, he sought the aid of Ulic Qel-Droma, a Jedi Knight who had previously spearheaded an effort against the dark side-influenced monarchy on Onderon, who was also under the sway of Freedon Nad's spirit. The fall of Ulic Qel-Droma into the depths of the dark side became the stuff of legend, an embodiment of the tragedy that befalls those who fall for its temptations. The saga ended with Exar Kun's defeat, his captivity in the strange realm of Yavin 4 acting as a testimony to the triumph of light over darkness. Destiny, on the other hand, has a way of making its way through time and space. 4 millennia later, Exar Kun would rise once more, this time because of the actions of Luke Skywalker's newly founded Jedi Academy. The echoes of his past deeds resurfaced, posing new challenges for the Jedi of a different era. Marka Ragnos is said to have announced another successor to the Sith throne, a mysterious being who would become known as Tenebrae, or Darth Vitiate. Instead of engaging in open conflict against rivals like Ludo Kresh and Nega Sadao, Vitiate embraced a path of hidden machinations, patiently awaiting a moment of maximum advantage. Consumed by an insatiable desire for immortality, he delved into forbidden practices, draining the life force of his Sith Lord subordinates and even his own homeworld, Medrias. Proclaiming himself the Sith Emperor, he established his seat of power amidst the rugged landscapes of Dromund Kaas, a planet shrouded in the mysteries of the uncharted Outer Rim. Obsessed with his quest for eternal life, Darth Vitiate's influence extended far beyond the reaches of the known galaxy. He meticulously orchestrated his rise to power, amassing it in the shadows while manipulating events to his advantage. His dominion became synonymous with the Eternal Throne, a symbol of his undefeatable rule. His hunger for power grew with each passing moment, driving him to surpass mortal limitations. However, the origins of his rise to supremacy remain veiled in myth and speculation. Legends hint at the unspeakable rituals he conducted and the sacrifices he made, delving into the darkest depths of the Force. Yet, the whole truth remains obscured, lost amidst the sands of time and the enigmatic allure of the Sith's ancient legacy. Unveiling a tale of intertwined destinies, the story then unfolds in the distant era of 3976 BBY, when the Mandalorians unleash their onslaught upon the Outer Rim territories. Initially hesitant to interfere due to the conflict's distance from the core worlds, the Republic found themselves overwhelmed as the Mandalorian forces drew nearer. Desperate, the Republic requested the Jedi Council for assistance, only to be completely turned down. However, a number of renegade Jedi, led by Revan and Malak, disobeyed the orders of the Council and joined arms with the Republic to combat the Mandalorian menace. From this crucial point, the accounts vary, casting doubt on Revan and Malak's true intentions. Some say that their hunger for war and power consumed them, tarnishing their once noble intentions. Others believe the terrible Darth Vitiate, the Sith Emperor, oversaw their journey into darkness. They had been sent out as puppets of the Sith Empire, but instead carved their own path, building an independent Sith Empire that was destined to rock the universe to its core. They acquired the legendary Rakatan weapon, the Starforge, after coming together under the Sith banner. They unleashed their might upon the unsuspecting galaxy, declaring their allegiance to the Sith. In a surprising twist, the charismatic Revan found support amongst dissatisfied Republic soldiers and Jedi, leading them in a rebellion against the very institution they once swore to protect. However, the tides of fate shifted when Revan was apprehended by a daring Jedi strike team led by the valiant Bastila Shan. Manipulated using Jedi techniques, Revan was convinced to turn against his old friend Malak, triggering the devastating battle known as the Jedi Civil War. Darth Malak's Sith Empire was overthrown, and the Starforge's deadly power was doused. The aftermath of this historic battle resulted in a power vacuum, which culminated in the creation of the Sith Triumvirate and the start of the First Jedi Purge. Following Malak's downfall through the actions of a sorrowful Revan, the rest of the Dark Jedi embarked on a vicious fight for power, which ultimately led to their doom. Yet, obscured within the shadows of the unknown regions, the Sith Empire endured, its existence concealed from the prying eyes of the galaxy. After the war with the Jedi completely ravaged the Sith, a figure known only to a select few emerged from the shadows as the sole surviving Sith amidst the aftermath. This enigmatic individual, known as Darth Bane, perceived a fundamental flaw that had nearly led to the annihilation of the Sith Order. Darth Bane recognized the perils of civil war and the relentless pursuit of power that had plagued the Sith in the past. Determined to ensure its survival, he devised a radical doctrine known as the Rule of Two. Under the Rule of Two, there would exist only a master and an apprentice, forging a symbiotic relationship that would transcend generations. The apprentice, driven by ambition and the hunger for power, would ultimately be tasked with slaying their master to claim the mantle of Sith Lord, thus continuing the cycle of succession. This revolutionary ideology shook the Sith Order's very core, wrapping their existence in obscurity and enabling them to operate discreetly and unobserved by the Jedi. This signature approach would pave the way for Darth Sidious's ascendance and ironclad control over the Galactic Empire. Darth Bane's legacy extended even beyond the establishment of the Rule of Two. He devised another grand strategy, known as the Great Plan, aimed at overthrowing the Galactic Republic from within. The Sith sought to discredit the noble Jedi Order and ultimately seize dominion over the entire galaxy through calculated manipulation and orchestrating events behind the scenes. While the Jedi Order developed in public view, the Sith remained in the shadowy recesses, awaiting their time and carrying out their illicit plans. Their existence relied on their capacity to change and grow, always ready to take action when the opportunity arose. Then began the growth of a dark and terrible force in the galaxy, as represented through the remarkable journey of a man named Palpatine. From his beginnings as a dark side disciple, he set out on a road that would eventually lead him to turn into the fearsome Dark Lord of the Sith. Palpatine, also known as Darth Sidious, had his ambitions realized with the transition of the Republic into the authoritarian Galactic Empire after millennia of precise planning and diligent preparation. Throughout his rise, Sidious took on a number of apprentices, each of whom served as a foundation for him in his quest for control. Darth Maul, Count Dooku, and Darth Vader were but a few who fell prey to his dark influence. Surprisingly, he even sought to use Luke Skywalker, a living symbol of promise and opposition to his repressive dictatorship, as his apprentice. Sidious effectively cemented his dominance over the galaxy, aided by an army of devoted stormtroopers, an elite force of warships, and his intimidating enforcer, Darth Vader. His extreme pride and unshakable conviction in his invincibility, however, would prove to be his undoing. The Force summoned Luke Skywalker, the single point of light in the middle of darkness, in an unexpected turn of events. Luke surfaced as the reason for Palpatine's downfall. The Empire had been reduced to its knees by his act of sacrifice, and the Sith were supposedly defeated. Yet, as history has shown, darkness has a tendency to repeat itself. The defeat of Palpatine and the Empire marked a temporary victory, leaving a period of peace in its wake. The delicate truce between the good and evil sides of the Force stayed constant, leaving the future unpredictable and the possibility of a Sith revival lurking in the shadows. Darth Kitus emerged from the shadowy recesses of galactic history as the next Sith Lord. Jacen Solo succumbed to the temptation of the dark side after facing a horrific crisis during his interactions with the intriguing Yuuzhan Vong and Vergere. Justifying his actions with a skewed sense of morals, Jacen believed that the galaxy required a strong and unwavering ruler to safeguard it from imminent threats. Guiding him on this treacherous path was Lumia, a dark Jedi who was thought to be deceased. Under her tutelage, Jacen embraced the mantle of Darth Kitus, a name symbolizing the conflict between light and darkness after committing the unthinkable act of slaying his own aunt and former Jedi Master, Mara Jade Skywalker. This heinous act solidified his position as a true Sith Lord, forever severing his ties to the light. However, destiny had other plans for Darth Kitus. In an astonishing turn of events, Han was killed by his very own sister, Jaina Solo, who had assumed the mantle of the Jedi Sword. Their deadly battle ended Jacen's kingdom of evil, marking the victory of light against the shadowy forces that had engulfed him. Darth Krate, a fearsome Sith Lord, arose in the period that followed, ushering in an essential shift in the Sith's age-old customs. Krate developed the Rule of One, a theory emphasizing the total supremacy of a single Sith monarch, around a century after the events shown in Return of the Jedi. From his position of power, he sought to seize control of the galaxy and mold it according to his stubborn vision. Born as Shared Het, the son of a Jedi named Shared Het and a member of the Tusken Raider tribe, his survival of the devastating Jedi Purge brought about by Order 66 was no mere chance. Living in seclusion on the desolate planet of Tatooine, Het embraced the dark side, immersing himself in its deadly teachings and patiently awaiting for the right moment to strike. After an extended period of inactivity spanning 80 years, he emerged from the shadows, gathering a hidden order of devoted followers who shared his unique perspective on the powers of the dark side. The One Sith, a collection of smaller rulers and apprentices committed to following Darth Krates' orders, loomed as a strong force in the galaxy, promising unflinching allegiance to his powerful persona. However, as time has often demonstrated, even the most powerful monarchs are not invincible to the forces of change. Krates' rule was eventually brought to an end by an unexpected hero on his own developing journey. Cade Skywalker, an ancestor of the famed Skywalker dynasty, battled and defeated Darth Krate in an unprecedented turn of events. Against all odds, he responded to the crisis, embracing the ideals of his mighty ancestors and bringing Krates' tyranny to an end. The Sith Code and its tenets. The Order of the Sith grew from the dark side of the Force as one of the galaxy's most lasting manifestations of evil. They followed a set of fundamental beliefs and ideas that characterized the way they lived as a whole. In their relentless pursuit to match and overthrow the Jedi, the Order of the Sith developed a unique code, encapsulating the very essence of their dark philosophy. The core tenets of this dark philosophy revolved around the potent power of emotion, the ignorance of limitations, and the relentless pursuit of power. It is a philosophy that, by its very nature, leads to the domination of immense evil above everything else. At the heart of their beliefs, the Sith placed utmost reliance on the untamed power of their rage. They shunned restraint, turning inward and focusing solely on their own desires. The Sith Code highlighted the significance of emotions, be it anger, hatred, or fear, as the wellspring from which their strength was drawn. Boundaries and limitations held no power over the Sith. They were stubborn in their conviction that no achievement was beyond their reach. The Force became their weapon, a destructive tool to be wielded in any conceivable manner, regardless of the depths of evil or immorality, for it was the means to their desired ends. In all its forms, weakness found no sympathy within the Sith ranks. To them, only two paths lay ahead: to conquer their limitations and deficiencies once and for all, or to face utter annihilation. Effort and perseverance were irrelevant to the Sith. Only the results mattered. Defeat was unacceptable, an option that would never be tolerated. Surrendering to an enemy was an alien concept, leaving only victory or death as viable alternatives. Any Sith who dared to submit or flee was deemed a coward and an outcast, unworthy of their title. Traitors were treated with scorn and disdain, and relentlessly pursued to their death. For a Sith, it was far preferable to sacrifice themselves on the battlefield, paying the ultimate price, than to escape with their lives and return to their masters. Freedom, the core principle of the Sith, stood as an ideal to be earned rather than granted. Students and apprentices, devoid of rights and agency, remained anonymous until they forged their name within the code of Sith teachings. Only upon earning the prestigious title of Darth did they attain the coveted mantle of freedom, standing as equals within the Sith Order. This was the true embodiment of the Sith's identity. Those unable to uphold these fundamental requirements were mere imposters, undeserving of the infamous title of Sith. The Order of the Sith ensured that weak links were purged without mercy, ensuring the strength and unity of their deadly cause. In the shadows, the Order of the Sith thrived, creating a legacy of darkness and following a sinister philosophy. Their conduct set them apart, shaping their existence as the antithesis of light and harmony. Marvelous verdict. As we come to the end of our enthralling journey into the origins of the Sith, we are struck by the immense influence that their presence has had on the Star Wars universe. A great number of dangerous Sith Lords sprang from the ruins of past wars, irrevocably changing the fate of innumerable planets. The story of the very first Sith stands as a cautionary lesson about the dark side's enticing power, advising us to be wary of its attraction. As we continue to examine the rich legends of Star Wars and the continuing war between light and dark, let us never forget this pivotal event in its history. That's all for now, but if you enjoyed our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.